Hello, welcome back. This is Adrienne with Hamilton Homestead. I am so glad you're here today. I'm finally ready to give a garden tour. Even though it's not quite where I hoped it would be by now, it's time to take a look at the garden together. This spring has been cool and wet, and one of those years where Mother Nature really lets you know who exactly is in charge. And oh, got a nice pollinator in here, or a yellow jacket. It's a yellow jacket. I'll leave him alone. Um, and then my focus up until our garden party that we had in the middle of May was really all about prep for the party and caring for the hundreds and hundreds of plants that I was growing. And once the party was done and all of those home plants had a new home, I was ready to pour myself into my garden, which I did. And I've gotten everything planted. Only the weather has had other plans. It's taken much longer than usual to get that planting done. And it's not picture perfect. I mean, it's doing well. The garden looks good. It's just it's not thriving, and it hasn't really grown very much since I put it in, which is very unusual for us. And today was a perfect example of this topsy-turvy weather. We woke up to very dense fog and everything was just dripping wet. And it is late afternoon here. It's almost 4 o'clock and we're just finally starting to see a little bit of the sun poke through. So the garden tour I was going to do this morning was delayed to this afternoon, so we had a little sunlight. I've heard that saying, it is what it is. Well, my garden is what it is, and I'm going to show you what it is today. Let's go. This year, everything is planted in raised beds or containers. I'm growing in 3 areas: the backyard garden, the courtyard area, and 2 green stalk vertical planters. Plus, I've tucked just a few things in my small greenhouse. So, the back garden area. Okay, this is the garlic. And a few days ago, John harvested the garlic scapes. We're in a zone 5A. So mid-June is about when it's time to harvest the garlic scapes. You wait until you get a full circle in the scape, and that's when they're ready to be harvested. So those are harvested, and they are on the dehydrator. Over here, I've got 3 heads of cabbage. I love to make sauerkraut, and I need to get some going. And the best sauerkraut I make is from cabbage that I grow. So I've got 3 heads here, 3 tomato plants. I've got carrots and bunching onions. These are my second planting of green beans because the first planting of my green beans and also my red kidney beans that I'm growing with the Survival Seeds 2025 collaboration, it did not survive the 3 days of really terrible wind that we had. And over here in the corner is the Jerusalem artichoke. I do have a regular artichoke planted at the base of that plant and some larkspur and a couple regular sunflowers. But the Jerusalem artichoke is looking really nice. We did have to move the rhubarb, but he is doing well even though he was moved. He's not in shock anymore. And this right here is a buttercup winter squash sprout that just came up. My comfrey's doing well. Over here I have cucumbers. This is my yellow summer squash with onions, dill, tomato, more onions, peppers, dill, and my Detroit red beets that I'm growing also for the Survival Seeds 2025 collaboration. They're doing really good. More onions, dill, and a tomato plant. And over here I have 3 more heads of cabbage growing. One of the things I'm doing this year is I'm trying to grow a variety of plants in each area. I have a channel I watch from Australia called Wake Up to Yourself with Trace, and I absolutely love the way she plants her garden beds. She's got herbs and tomatoes and onions and flowers and just packed in those beds, and it's just so pretty to see the variety. So I'm trying to jump out of my comfort zone and put multiple different things in each area. And here I've got sage and cucumbers. I've got celery growing with the garlic. These are my cherry tomatoes. I've got a red and a yellow there on this giant tomato cage. I tried to find another one of these this year, but I didn't see any of them. This thing is just huge, and I think the cherry tomatoes will really appreciate that. Carrots in those first two. Here are more of my Survival Seeds 2025 Detroit beets, carrots, and then over here, my Atlantic giant pumpkin has finally germinated. I also had to replace my sunflowers that I put in pretty early. I knew the risk I was taking when I put them in that early, but the wind also destroyed them, so they got replanted. And these are the Survival Seeds 2025 Sugar Pie Pumpkin. And so I've got sunflowers growing behind them as well. This is a pot of shallots, more carrots here. And this is a bed that I'll be working on probably tomorrow. These landscape bricks, I think is what they're called, were here when we moved in. They were at the front of the house. And I'll tell you what, I've moved these things like 5 times since we got here. They just keep getting moved further back. And this last time I moved them, I thought, I'm going to put a flower bed right here by the back door. And John has leveled it for me, brought the dirt back. I picked up a few flowers, so that is their final resting place. I am not moving those again. Okay, and the potatoes, my word. These robust and beautiful plants were one of the first things I planted this spring, and have already received 2 applications of yeast fertilizer. And also my garlic has received 2 applications of yeast fertilizer. Harvest time for both will be really fun. Krista from Almost Off-Grid Grandma put out a video last year on how to use yeast in the garden, and I am so grateful I found her channel. This year she's hosting the collaboration #YeastFertilizer, where you can find channels sharing their results. I will put a link to Almost Off-Grid Grandma in the description. Krista has a great channel where she shares her journey, which includes resourceful gardening and off-grid living tips. It's pretty clear these potato plants are thriving. These are Yukon Gold potatoes, which is a determinate variety, meaning they have a shorter growing season. There are 2 main types of potato plants, determinate and indeterminate, much like tomato plants. Determinate varieties stay compact and set one layer of potatoes that basically all mature at the same time. Great for containers like I'm doing. Indeterminate varieties keep growing, producing multiple layers of tubers. So if you want to grow a potato tower, choose an indeterminate variety like Kennebec or Snowdon or Russet. Potato plants put out flowers as part of their normal growth cycle. Now, the flowers don't impact the potatoes themselves, but they're often a sign that the plant is getting close to maturity. As for harvest time, watch for the foliage to start yellowing and dying back, which means the plant is done growing and the potatoes have reached full size. So you can gently, dig around for new potatoes a bit earlier, but for storage spuds, give the plants a couple of weeks after the foliage dies back to let the skins toughen up underground. And just a quick safety note, only the tubers or spuds are safe to eat. The rest of the plant that is above ground, the leaves, stems, flowers, and any green potatoes you can see on the surface, contain solanine, which is toxic if eaten. One last very sad note, potatoes made the 2025 Dirty Dozen list. That's the list the Environmental Working Group puts out each year, ranking conventionally grown fruits and vegetables with the highest levels of pesticides and chemical residues. Out of the 47 items tested, potatoes came in at number 12. Most non-organic potatoes had 2 different pesticides detected, including a chemical commonly used to prevent sprouting after harvest. And potatoes were not alone. Produce like strawberries, spinach, grapes, peaches, apples, and leafy greens had even higher levels, often with 4 or more pesticides per sample. Altogether, the top 12 items on the list had traces of over 200 different chemicals. Now, washing and peeling your potatoes can help, and organic options are available. Sweet potatoes ranked much lower on the list, so they're a safer option with great nutritional value. But truly, the very best option, growing your own in healthy, chemical-free soil and skipping all the post-harvest treatments altogether. That's the kind of food you can really feel good about. Okay, so that is the backyard garden. And here is that log bed that my grandson and I put together. Got the lupine and the comfrey in there and some echinacea. And we expanded it. We liked it the way it looked so well. We just expanded it. We thought, why not? Obviously, I haven't got this planted yet, but here is my Survival Seeds 2025 hyssop and my Survival Seeds 2025 lemon balm and my Survival Seeds 2025 oregano. The oregano and the lemon balm I've already had a couple harvests off of, and this hyssop is a little slow. All the hyssop I've grown in the past has been very vigorous and grown very tall. I don't know if this is going to be a tall variety, but I really don't think the hyssop has appreciated all of the moisture that we've gotten. But he'll be fine. I mean, the plant looks healthy enough. Okay, and then here in this raised bed, onions, peppers, carrots, and bunching onions in the front. Another tomato plant. I do have 20 tomato plants planted and 23 pepper plants. Let me see my tomato, that's it. This is pretty much all flowers, although I did throw a few onions in there. This is a cucumber bed. Cucumber plant has not germinated yet. I got 3 peppers there. And then over here is a green summer zucchini. And I have got spinach and lettuce, onions, tomato, basil. Over here is baby romaine. The onions run along the entire back of these 2 raised beds. And then we have peppers, 3 tomato plants, lettuce, spinach, growing in between. So that's that bed. Oh, there's a basil that not doing so well. Probably just too wet. The guy right next to it is doing fine. And over here, my bush picklers are up. And those don't get very big. They only spread about 18 inches. So I do have cucumbers in 3 different places this year because I need to put up some pickles. So I need lots of cucumbers. Another tomato, basil, spinach, pepper plant. And oh my goodness, these green stalks. You guys, this tatsoi, look how beautiful it is. And I have harvested that like 4 times. I've harvested the cilantro, I've cut completely back. And the parsley I've been harvesting. The plants in the green stalks are doing very, very well. And I've got 2 of them. They hold 30 plants each. I planted them exactly the same. But goodness, really, really doing well. I just love this planter. The sage is a little bit slower, but sage does grow slower. It's not like an annual parsley or cilantro. Okay, more flower pots. I did tuck a few onions in there. These are my ornamental onions that I've not seen bloom yet, but this year, this one has lots of bulbs. Do you see that? I think I'm going to get to see it bloom this year. Even though they don't bloom if they, I like the foliage even if they don't bloom, but it'll be fun to see them bloom. And then another pepper plant. And this is giant red mustard that I'm growing in this flower pot. I did that with a pot out front too. I haven't used it to, I haven't harvested it for the kitchen yet, but I'm going to. And I just think it looks pretty with the flowers. Had a stray zucchini plant I just couldn't get rid of, so he went in the pot. More peppers, so I've got peppers here under the hail guard. This is our seating area, one of our seating areas. And the hanging baskets are doing pretty good. Yep. This area here I kind of took over and have been using for kind of a staging area for my planting projects. All of those totes there are filled with all my drip irrigation supplies, which drip irrigation is what I'll be working on next. Oh, and this is the garlic scapes on the dehydrator. So they're crispy. They can be removed from the dehydrator now. And I powder those, and oh gosh, I love powdered scapes. You get the garlic and the onion flavor. It's wonderful. Okay, the outside of the greenhouse. I've got early girl tomato planted in each one on either side of the door, and basil planted with those tomatoes. Looks like I've got one basil doing well over here and one over there that is pretty sickly. But look. Got some nice tomato setting. And I put in lots of flowers. I like to bring in the pollinators. And look at these tumbler tomatoes, you guys. Wow. They're just loaded. And they're starting to tumble now. They're going to just get gorgeous. Yeah. This one got a little bit beat up in the wind, so I decided to move him back into the greenhouse. But one side of him got broke off. This one over here. Look at all of those flowers. Goodness gracious. And he's starting to set too. Yep, there's some. Yeah, they're starting to tumble, so they're going to be beautiful. Look at that cluster of flowers right there. Yeah. Okay, I've had a fungus gnat issue in here since I brought in a bag of compost that was apparently infested. So I'm dealing with that, but I'm using my sticky yellow traps. I'm using neem oil and Captain Jackson. I think I'm getting a leg up on them. But I've got 3 determinate tomato plants in here and 5 pepper plants. And then I've got quite a bit of basil in here too. All of it is doing pretty good. Yeah, look at all of the fungus gnats on that yellow trap. And I've replaced these traps several times. Like I said, I think I'm getting a handle on it. Okay. If you're new to gardening, here's my little tidbit of advice. Gardening isn't about perfection. There are just too many variables for that. But there is a science to the art of gardening. Plants have needs. Soil health, nutrients, water, light, and a whole bunch of other things worth learning. It's not just about showing up, although that matters too. You've got to listen, observe, experiment, and dream a little. Even when the rain won't stop, or the calendar slips by faster than your planting schedule, or early failures try to steal your joy, roll up your sleeves and plant. Do you have a favorite gardening tip, a trick, a tale, or even a don't try this at home moment? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear what's worked or flopped in your garden. We're all learning as we grow, and I believe the good Lord teaches us a thing or two in the garden if we're willing to listen. My garden might be behind at this point, but it's still full of promise, and I'm so grateful to share this journey with you. See you in mid-July for another garden tour that hopefully shows this garden has caught up. Until then, May you be blessed, stay grateful, and continue building a life you love.